is known as an environmentally conscious campus and community. Guelph is one of the fastest growing cities in Ontario. We've seen this growth happen in both businesses and housing sectors. These are vital to our economy, but may pose a risk to wetlands, water systems, beautiful parks and trails. So here's the question. How do you plan on balancing economic and population growth while taking into consideration our treasured green spaces?
Again, I'll go back to the way I live, because I think you can tell a lot by what a Canada's going to do by the way they live their life. And how do I live my life? I literally go out into my environment with my feet exposed to everything at all times. So believe me, I have the background to tell you that green spaces are the most incredible thing for your feet, and thus your health. Because you take good care of your feet, you take good care of your health. So I don't have a specific plan as to what I want to protect what, but you can be rest assured that when I'm in there, that is going to be something that is always in the back of my head, how we can protect these things, not just for ourselves, but for the next generations, because ultimately that's who we should be building for. Because all we do here is temporary, because the other ones are going to have to carry it on. So we have to build something that they can perpetuate. And the most important thing I think that our generation globally can bring to this is the idea that we can just vastly increase the amount of green spaces that are available to us just for the sake of our overall health. Because you hear a lot of stuff about health these days, we're all obsessed with it, never stop. So why not build it into the actual infrastructure of our city? Now, that's going to be a challenging thing because we have a lot of great green spaces as it is. We can always have more, but there will also be that need for home growth and economic growth, and how do you balance that? I don't have the answers for that absolutely. But I will be working with a team of, I'm sure many of them will be highly competent, and the ones who aren't, they will have to be cut out because there's a lot of fat at City Hall that needs to be cut out. And while I'm working with this incredible team of talented people who have these similar ideals about how green spaces should be maintained, I think we can achieve wonderful things. I hope that I can continue the legacy that Ms. Barbara has built. She has done a wonderful job with green spaces. Has made everybody happy, but you never make everybody happy when you go for political office. That's just the fact of the matter. But I assure you, I intend to replicate that part of her work if she is not your choice for me.
Some of you may have seen the candidates' responses to the survey, the questionnaire from the Guelph Urban Forest Friends about green space and about the forest cover canopy in particular. I am in favor of maintaining green space, obviously, and of increasing forest cover, our tree canopy, and that I've proposed a number of things. I've indicated my support, for example, for a registry of trees, for assigning an economic value to trees and shade trees in particular as part of the calculus for development charges. I've proposed that developers who must take down trees and occupy green space replace the trees on a 5 or 6 to 1 ratio, and that the trees be planted anywhere in the city because no matter where they go, they're going to enhance our tree cover. I'm in favor of responsible and sustainable development, and of course that may include densification efforts. There are what are called the virtues of density. Having denser developments takes advantage of existing infrastructure. For example, as you know, it costs the same to install a sewer main, a kilometer of sewer main, regardless of how many housing units are along that line. So part of smarter government is appropriate growth, appropriate development, and that for me includes protecting and preserving green space and our tree canopy.
I very much like what Mr. St. Denis said. I'm very much somebody who practices what I preach, and my main mode of transportation around the city is bike, public transit, and walking. And because of that, I get a really good opportunity to see just how diverse our city is, and I think it is beautiful. But something that was written in the question, in the original part of the question, is Guelph is known as an environmentally conscious campus and community. Well, we need to have environmentally conscious campus and community growth too. And that, when you have urban sprawl like we do, you're going to lose some of those green spaces. So I don't want to sit up here today and pretend like I have all the answers, like I've talked to the consultants or I've talked to all of you on how we can manage green spaces versus growth in our city. But that's a conversation that we need to definitely have with our constituents in the city and the people who are planning to build this city. I don't want to sit up here and pretend like I have the answers for you today. What I do know is that we need to make sure that when we do invest in these green spaces, that they are for the population as a whole. Green spaces are very nice. They are great. It's a beautiful place to go walking. But let's make sure that we're also investing in things like soccer fields, basketball courts, baseball diamonds, retail service, a wide variety of people in this community. It all starts with coming out to debates like this, community functions, and really getting the sense of what the university crowd wants versus maybe what the elder community wants. And let's get this conversation going.
One of the things that I'm very proud of that we've achieved this term of office was the final approval of our natural heritage strategy. This strategy puts into protection and removes from any form of development almost a quarter of the land within the city of Guelph. And so it had been appealed to the Ontario Municipal Board by 22 development interests, and we have been able to successfully mitigate those appeals, and now those lands are protected. And that doesn't even include the parks that we also have in our city. So 25% of the land is protected from development. I would comment that we used some exceptional consultants in developing that strategy. Many of them graduates from this university. So specialized expertise that worked with our staff to deliver such an exceptional natural heritage strategy. During every election that I've been in, and this one is no different, there is always political pressure to move towards annexing more land. And there's been conversations about annexing our neighbors in Puslinch. I will resist the annexation of land. All that does is open ourselves up to more sprawl, to build on green land and farmland. And so I will work to continue to build a more compact and walkable community and a more safe and sustainable community and protect our land, natural areas in that way. And finally, parkland. Interestingly, we're also getting a lot of pressure from the development industry to reduce the parks that we have in the city and to have fewer parks when we build subdivisions. I will resist that. I think our residents deserve good parkland, and we need more parkland in the downtown, and I support that project as well. So thank you.
I was also going to mention that this term of council did finally pass through with settlement agreements the natural heritage strategy, and so that is in place now. We do have an urban forest strategy that we are working on as well within the community. And we have to remember that trees not only are good for shade, as some people would say, but they actually can be an economic portion for the city as well. A house with the tree could actually get more money for it than a house right beside it with no trees. So it helps with the heating and cooling, but it also helps even with the value of the price of your home as well. One of the high things that's always been coming back within the city when we do consultations with the public or with surveys or polling is trails. It's always very high on the list. It's something that I think we need to have more focus on here in the city. And that those trails won't even happen just in the new development area. We have to make sure that they're connecting to the existing development that's across the city as well. One of the other things too, when you're talking about green spaces, and as a city councilor, I've really fought about two things in the city. One is in the west end of town, where maybe not a lot of you are, but in the west end of town, I've been really fighting to get a trail system from the west end underneath the Hamlet to connect to the downtown Guelph, to the trail system there. And I've also been fighting a lot for community gardens throughout the city. I think community gardens are something that should be a lot more across the city, and I've been fighting for that for 4 years straight. One of the things, though, that I do not agree with Mayor Fartridge is demolishing downtown businesses that are already established so that you can create a park. That is the wrong way of doing things. It is destroying businesses that are here, and it is destroying the opportunity of those jobs, and it is also destroying the tax income from those commercial businesses that are already there. That is a backward step. I did not get elected to destroy businesses.
If we're going to build a sustainable community and a sustainable downtown and have more people living in the downtown, they need access to green space. Green space is essential for quality of life. So downtowns shift and change It is a very bold vision to take development, land that's been developed, out of development and put it into parkland. But that's for people. And so we will work with those landowners as we are right now in terms of how we move forward with that project.
That's fine.
We've got new commercial development happening in the downtown.
I would balance the economic growth and population growth with the green space in regards to the fact that typically cities want to sprawl, and I appreciate the fact that you don't want to annex Uswich. I agree with that. I believe we have to come to the realization that we are in a fixed city limit. We are in a fixed system. We have fixed resources. We have all these things we have to consider. So if we can't sprawl, I believe we have to go up. We have to be a little bit more intelligent with our design. I know downtown has improved a few buildings already, and I personally appreciate that because it's maximizing land use. We do have a height restriction downtown. Many people may disagree with me that this may need to be changed. Personally, I think we should remove that height restriction. We get more people downtown, and that's what my platform obviously is. I bring it back to you. Considering green space, I'm sure all of you are aware of the Emerald Ash Borer, correct? Yes. We have approximately 10,000 ash trees in our city, and the city has projected saving about 30%. And this is beyond their control. This is not an easy thing to battle. The time sensitive is critical with this, and this year, of 30%, obviously everyone here is very intelligent, of 3,000 trees, they were able to treat 554. Asked why, well, I'll take that back, not why, but how, was that it was used with a private contractor. I personally would be more, I think we could get more done if I literally just asked this group, would you consider volunteering 2 weeks of your time, get a license to help us with these trees? For $300, I can get a license online to treat EAB, and the city can pay for the pesticide, which is a biopesticide, working together.